After a disastrous year for the Browns' passing offense, Andrew Berry wasted no time improving the current receiving core by trading for the Cowboys' Amari Cooper, only giving up a 5th-round pick in return. The OBJ trade has left a bad taste in many Browns fans' mouths, which is why people are cautiously optimistic about another high-profile receiver coming to Cleveland. But Amari Cooper is a really, really good receiver that has a skill set that the Browns have been lacking since Kevin Stefanski took over as head coach in 2020. Amari Cooper has 3 main strengths that I want to focus on in this video, which are his route running ability, his effectiveness as a contested catch and red zone threat, and the yards he creates after the catch. The first topic I want to focus on is Cooper's unparalleled ability to separate from man coverage. He is a true technician in this field and regularly embarrasses top cornerbacks on a weekly basis. Among wide receivers in 2021 against man coverage, Cooper had the 3rd highest yards per route run, behind only Davante Adams and Cooper Kupp, a break tackle rate over 22%, which was also 3rd best in the league, as well as the 2nd highest passer rating when targeted at 117.3, which was only trailing Cooper Kupp. Cooper doesn't have blazing speed. He had an average 40-yard dash time, but he compensates for this lack of transcendent speed with sharp, defined routes and body control. He is incredibly fluid, even as a bigger-bodied receiver, which makes him extremely difficult to guard man-to-man. On this play, the Patriots are running cover 1 and leave Cooper one-on-one with J.C. Jackson, their top corner. First, Cooper sells the out route by breaking outside, which forces the corner to open his hips toward the sideline. Then, Cooper plants his foot in the ground and drives vertically, which causes the corner to frantically flip his hips to get back, since the corner thinks he got caught on a double move and he doesn't want to get beat deep. Lastly, Cooper, 220 pounds, stops on a dime and takes advantage of J.C. Jackson sprinting down the sideline and works toward the ball for a 15-yard gain. Amari Cooper has a truly uncanny ability to get open, a trait that the Browns have been lacking in the past few years from their wide receivers. Here's another great example of how he manipulates cornerbacks. The Giants are playing man coverage across the board with a single high safety in a cover 1 defense. Cooper is running a skinny post against a cornerback that has inside leverage, which will make it difficult for him to get open since the corner is already in position to defend against an in-breaking route. Generally speaking, wide receivers' initial burst off the line of scrimmage is in the opposite direction of their route in order to create more space. For example, if a receiver is running a corner route, typically they'd use an inside stem before breaking back to the outside. Conversely, if a receiver was running a dig route, they'd probably use an outside stem before breaking back inside. The goal of this technique is to slightly influence the cornerback's position to move them away from the direction the receiver is running. It's pretty intuitive. On this play, Cooper uses an inside stem in order to move the corner further inside. But when Cooper hits his break, he plants hard with his left foot as if he's running an out-breaking route, which is pretty typical, and forces the cornerback to trigger towards the sideline. But Cooper isn't running an out-breaking route. He explodes back inside with a quick jab step and embarrasses the cornerback for a touchdown. Like I said, Amari Cooper is a very talented route runner who is dangerous when left on an island, one-on-one with a cornerback. And since there are very few cornerbacks that can even keep up with him, most defenses are forced to allocate more resources to defend Cooper, which, in the Browns' case, will open up more opportunities for a strong running game led by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Cooper is also great in the red zone and as a contested catch guy. On deep throws outside the numbers, Cooper ranked 6th in EPA, expected points added, per target, 7th in yards per route run, and 5th in completion percentage when targeted. Additionally, since 2019, Cooper has the highest catch rate among wide receivers over expected when targeted outside the numbers at plus 10.9%. His blend of length, body control, hands, quickness, and size makes for an elite weapon in these areas. Cooper was a traditional alpha receiver in the Cowboys offense. The Cowboys often isolated him on one side of the field to force defenses to shift coverages away from him in order to create those one-on-one matchups where he was able to flourish. Here's a play from the Dallas-Carolina game in Week 4 of the past season that I think really exemplifies what the Browns are going to be able to do creatively. Pre-snap, the Cowboys receivers line up in a bunch formation to the field side. The play calls for Cooper to motion to the opposite side, which gives him a chance to win on a one-on-one matchup. From there, Cooper does the rest. He gets the corner to bite underneath, which allows him to sneak over the top for the touchdown, and shows incredible body control and situational awareness to toe tap and get in bounds to make the catch. During Stefanski's tenure, the Browns' offense hasn't had that go-to guy they could rely on in desperate situations. Mayfield hasn't had a receiver he could count on to get open and bail him out from time to time when no one else was getting open. Cooper's skill set offers the Browns the opportunity to open up a new element of their passing game, the deep ball. Like I mentioned, Amari Cooper is an excellent red zone threat that the Browns have also been missing on offense from their wide receivers. In 2021, the Browns receivers, when targeted in the end zone, caught the second lowest number of touchdowns with only 4 total touchdowns in the league, as well as the third lowest percentage of catchable passes caught at only 76.9%. Meaning Browns receivers only caught about 77% of catchable targets in the end zone from Mayfield. For comparison's sake, Cooper caught 5 touchdowns in the red zone, which was more than the entire Browns receiving corps, and also caught 92.9% of catchable passes in the red zone, which was the 7th highest percentage among wide receivers in 2021. So that's a pretty significant upgrade. His quickness and lateral speed allows him to dominate in condensed space against cornerbacks who don't have the same level of quickness as he does. When you watch Cooper's film, it's evident that someone might have fast-forwarded the tape on him because he's just so fast and fluid with his footwork that causes defenses to really stutter and lose track of him. He's as technically refined as they come, which makes him extremely useful in the red zone, where the margins get thinner and the space gets smaller, and his footwork leaves cornerbacks in the dust. The last component of Amari Cooper's game that I briefly want to touch upon is his threat after the catch. While Cooper isn't exactly in the same tier in this category as receivers like Tyreek Hill or Deebo Samuel, he can pop big gains off of checkdowns fairly regularly, and that's a pretty big step up from what the Browns have had from their wide receivers in recent years. The speed and agility that makes him a dynamic separator also translates to the reason why he's such a hard tackle. He shakes defenders even at over 200 pounds, and he'll use a nice move or two here or there. Cooper also shows no hesitancy when going over the middle, and he'll make the tough catches even when he's in the process of getting hit, which is why I'm optimistic he'll gain the trust of the Browns offense and Mayfield and Stefanski pretty quickly. Getting Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick was incredible value by the Browns front office. I know that the OBJ trade did not pan out as almost every Browns fan expected it to, and I get why people are somewhat skeptical about trading for another expensive, high-profile receiver. However, Cooper is a better receiver and a better fit for the Browns. At the end of the day, when people get so caught up in combine times and bench press numbers and 40-yard dash times, the most important trait for a wide receiver is the ability to separate. If you can't get open, then what's the point of being fast, strong, or tall? Cooper is a top 5 route runner in the NFL, in my opinion, and will give Mayfield or whoever is starting for the Browns at quarterback in September a chance to open up the passing offense to an elite level.